Yeah, wait till class starts. Wait till it starts. Go ahead. If I can, young man, if you can go to my car and just grab the charger right out of the front. Yes, I'm on. Yeah. About to shut the water. Should be the black one. Yep. See. The what? You can go ahead and plug it up. You can plug the microphone up.
Testing.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead, clap it up. Shalom, Israel. We're the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge. Started out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana, Priest and Officer of 5000 Kasapa Kai. It's a Thursday night scripture breakdown class for ICBK Northern California. Let's see. Got any comments? Shalom, Angela, checking in from Canyon County. It's on crisis. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in on the chat online. If you have any questions in the room, let's go ahead and get it. Go ahead.
So, like I said, I wanted to know, what do you do, like when you realize you have an evil thought and you just you tell yourself to make it go away, like to not do it again, but it continuously keeps coming back. What do you do in that situation?
All right, let's see. Explain a little bit more. Like you just saying, go ahead one more time. Just
like having so for me, it's like my brother, like he'll do things and I continuously get annoyed.
And you don't have to be too specific if it's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? But
I don't mind,
yeah, okay.
But like I get annoyed, and then in my mind I'm just thinking, it's like what's wrong with this man? Like, you know, but it's like
Right.
it's nothing he's doing, but
Right.
it's I can see that it's me, but I continuously struggle with it.
Okay. So give me James chapter 1 verse 8.
Come.
And you saying it's like you want to like harm them or something like that, or just a negative thought, it's just a negative mindset. Okay. No sweat.
So James chapter 1, verse 8.
Right.
Verse 8. Come. This is the book of James, chapter 1, verse 8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
Right. So a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. What does that mean?
It means a man who's like not really focused on that one thing, is not all things.
Hold on, one more time. What you want to say? I couldn't hear you in the last part.
That's like like a man who like has double thoughts, like let's say he knows something is good, but he continuously does something that's bad.
Right.
He's gonna be like that in anything that he does.
Right. Okay. So being double-minded makes you unstable. So a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, having these dual thoughts. Now, it's one thing to feel a certain way and think a certain way. It's another thing to act on that. So having evil thoughts, first you have to identify where they come from. That's why I pulled this precept, double-minded man. Where do they come from? Where do they come from, Tazaba? What are like evil thoughts come from? What would you say?
Evil thoughts come from probably something you've seen or something before. You know what I mean? Something that came from somewhere, something you've seen, or something that irritated you or vexed you in some kind of way.
Right. Okay, but now in the spiritual world,
Okay, well, you know, the demons whispering in your ear.
That's right. Amen. So that's why I pulled that precept. If you want anything else to say, all right, you get it back to that brother real quick. I want you to read that precept one more time, and I got one more for you. All right.
Come. This is the book of This is the book of James, chapter 1, verse 8. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
Right. So someone that's single-minded is stable, is able to move through and make right decisions at all times, and they're in control of their emotions. So what it sounds like is that's an emotional response to something that someone is doing, and it's causing you to feel a certain way, right? And so we know one of the bedrock statements in the UPK is don't be emotional. All right, make decisions that are sound-minded based off of what is right and what is wrong. And so being double-minded is letting a demon talk to you and you're listening to it. But demons work in a way that you think it's your voice talking, but it's not your voice, it's something else that wants you to do something evil. So drop that one and give me Ephesians chapter 4 in verse 26. Ephesians 4 and 26. So this is a very good question, because everyone has things they struggle with and they battle with. Coming into the truth, you learn how to get more and more control of your emotions, and you do that by coming to class, studying the scriptures, and watching the men above you, watching, you know, the generals, the captains, seeing how they're moving, seeing brothers that are seasoned, how they're moving and how they respond to different things. So you don't have to have the same reaction you've always had in life, and you be able to control, you know, the things that you're thinking. Ephesians 4 and 26. Go ahead when you got it.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 26. Be ye angry and sin not.
And do what?
And sin not.
So it is, you're allowed to be angry. No one is ever saying that no one is allowed to be angry at something, be upset. But what you can't do with that anger is sin. So it's one thing to have the thought, it's another thing to act on it in a certain way. So it is it better, is it perfect to be, you know, clear-minded and stable-minded and make, you know, have righteous thoughts? Yes. If a certain thought is coming as tempting you or making you think evil, then you want to be in control of that. But the most important thing is that you don't act and do anything on that thought, for sure. All right, keep going.
Let not the sun go down upon your wrath.
Anything else?
Verse 27.
Go ahead.
Verse 27. Neither give place to the devil. Verse 28.
Right.
Let him that stole steal no more.
Right. Go back where 27.
Come. Verse 27. Neither give place to the devil.
Right. Like that's your emotion is doing one thing. As long as you don't sin off of that emotion, you're not giving way to the devil to come in and have him use you to be weak and do something that's wrong against the Lord. Have you break a law, statutes, and commandment. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
So is that feeling of anger, because I think that's exactly what it is. Is there any way to make it so that you don't feel that anymore, or is that just something you just got to deal with?
It's a little bit of both. Like I said, not being emotional. If certain things that are making you angry, but they don't make someone else angry, then you can grow and get stronger at that. You see what I mean? So that's about growing and having patience and seeing things from a bigger picture. If you're staying focused in the small realm, you'll notice a lot of the things that are angering you, if it's an emotional based thing, is petty. You see what I mean? So as you grow and start to see life from a bigger picture, and put things in perspective. Okay, what is this that's causing me to be angry, and how is it distracting me? Is it motivating me? Is it helping me become a better person? Is it doing something to, once again, help to see the bigger picture? And so I'm gonna say it to you like this. Ah man, I don't want to keep pulling a bunch of precepts. I'll paraphrase one, but was it John 8:44? Year of your father, the devil. Talk about your oppressor. That's one way to solve a lot of problems with our disputes amongst our family members. That's one way to unite Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans as a nation. And so when I say see life as a bigger picture, your goal in life is to what? Help your nation, build your nation, teach and raise up people and show them the truth. So is this right here in the way of me doing that? Then why am I angry at that? Is the brother that got choked out on the subway, is that a bigger problem happening? Or is this right here a bigger problem? That happened in New York angers me. And it's a righteous anger. You see what I'm saying? Anger can be righteous when it's about others. That's when it is. When it's about yourself, then it's where evil comes in. You see what I mean? So that anger that happened to that brother is not per se an emotional response. It's a logical response. It's something that you hate oppression. Oppression makes a wise man mad. So you want to use your anger for a purpose to get something done and do something for the Lord. So you can have that same anger and do something righteous, or you can get angry and do something evil. You see the difference? And so as you grow, you get stronger, and you start to see, okay, this is nothing. This is nothing. It happens. And another one, I'll give you one precept paraphrasing is, know who you labor amongst. So, you know, this person does this type of things. It happens about the same time every day. Even Captain Soccer War was saying that he was getting into arguments with his rib. And he's noticing every year about the same time, they get into the same exact argument. He said, you know yourself, every about 3 months, you're going to want to try to talk to some new female, and you're going to try to get her number, and you doing this, and the rib finds out, and she get angry. It's like you on a cycle, you don't even know it. And so that can happen a lot with them amongst our families. Like, it's about the TV. It's about you playing your music too loud. It's about I want to go to sleep. It's about, you know what I mean? It's always the same thing. So you start to learn who you labor amongst, and you start to understand their personality, and you can kind of sidestep those things and move around it. But Salaki, that's pretty much what I got for that. Hopefully that helped.
It did, boy.
Most High Christ. Yeah. All right. All right. Any other questions in the room or online? Let's see. All right. Shalom Yabashim Yashai Bagathud. Also Yuragabar. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Lathan Bashim Yashai to Sister Charlotte as well. Son of Christ. Let's go ahead and get into tonight's topic then. Tonight's topic is rank is brotherhood, and brotherhood is rank. There was ranking systems all throughout the Bible. And when you hear about people that have a problem with rank, and I'm not talking about in here in the school, I'm talking about people that may come from the world and say that we're men pleasers, say that another man's telling you what to do. As a matter of fact, can you like this? It says Bible show. You're a man pleaser, or someone's telling you what to do. The same people that are telling you these things have a boss at work. Some of them have been in the military. They come into the front of the camp. They've been in the military. They take orders and follow orders from other people, but they see something wrong with us doing it. Fake Israelites have an issue with it. And their issue is really an issue with anti-brotherhood. Because for you to have no rank, it leads to no order. And the purpose of rank is two things. It's to resolve disputes between people, and it's to serve people. To have rank is to be a servant, all right? Let me get Exodus chapter 15 and verse 3. Let's start off there.
Come.
Give me one more second, let everybody get it with you. All right. The book of Exodus, chapter 15 and verse 3.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 15, verse 3. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name.
Right. The Lord is a man of war. This is the spirit that the Most High is in. This is the type of person that the Most High is in. Everything is warfare. Life is about warfare. Whether you're dealing with any issue, you have to go to war with it. Something that comes up, the smallest thing. Captain Mashad was talking about in Washington, D.C., the garbage would come and pick up the garbage on a certain day. And the garbage man, they look outside, they roll right past our school and left our garbage. Most people are like, all right, whatever, leave it and we'll worry about it next week, etc. He said, nah, man, they went and chased down the thing, come back over here, you're going to make sure you pick up our trash like you're picking up everyone else's. You get a traffic ticket. You don't just take that traffic ticket, you go to court, you can fight that traffic ticket. You go to war with anything and everything that comes in your way. And that's the spirit of the Lord, is to fight, is to battle, to not give in, not to concede, not to give up. And so your oppressor, they hate to see strong black men. And this militancy that we have in the UPK is something that they don't like to see. One example we can use is the movie Malcolm X. If brothers have seen that Malcolm X movie, Denzel, he did his thing in that movie. One of the most famous scenes was him outside of a hospital, and he had brothers lined up. Have you seen that movie or not? Okay. He had brothers lined up in front of the hospital, standing on guard. And when he pointed his finger and told everyone to leave and disperse, what did the police say? You remember what the police said?
They were surprised. Like they were like, he shouldn't have that power.
There it is. That's it. So no one man should have that power. So them being disciplined in order and following his instruction put fear in the hearts of those oppressors. Why is that?
Because they were united, sir.
Damn right. They were united and they were disciplined, and that is a threat to your oppressor, because when you don't have unity, when you don't have order, you don't have structure, there is no power. See, they said that no one man should have power. They realized that Malcolm X had power. Go ahead, Tazaba.
That's heavy what you said, because that's heavy what you said, right? Because they want us to run around like a bunch of chickens with their heads cut off, running around and burning down the city, just so they can call us some damn monkeys.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But when we in order and all discipline and stuff, they see that they really see you as a threat.
Right.
You know
right. Get that in. And that's, like you said, they look at you like a monkey, like an animal when you running around with like a chicken with his head cut off. But when you in line, you in order and discipline, they fearful of that. And that's why even the people that don't like the UPK, hey, Kalea, kids, you're gonna have to be a little bit quiet, all right? Even when they see the UPK, the people that don't like us, they do say, man, one thing about the UPK is y'all brothers got discipline. Y'all brothers are in order. They tip their hat to seeing that. And that's where rank comes into play. And it allows the brotherhood to grow by having this thing. And it starts off with us being in the same spirit as the Lord. And that's being men of war. The Christian church wants you to be soft. They want you to be weak. They don't want you to be focused on anything else but yourself and what the Lord is giving you. But what is a soldier's job? What is a soldier's duty? Go ahead.
To follow orders, sir.
Right, but what are they following orders for? You get that answer, right?
Sir.
Mm-hmm. Think about it. It's not. Don't overthink it. What is the military? You think about the military of America. What do they say they're here to do? Protect. And one is like one more thing.
Protect and serve.
Damn right. You see what I'm saying? Like they give up their lives so that you can have what? Freedom. They always say that. Now we know that's a lie for us because we're not a part of this nation. we're captive in this nation. But the people that benefit off of this nation, the oppressors, they are keeping them free. They're keeping America in charge by going to Afghanistan and taking over the oil fields and going over here, taking gold from these people, killing these leaders that come up against them. They're gaining power by their soldiers, and they're maintaining their power through their military. That's why they say the military is the most important thing. America spends all of their money on the military, and it's what allows them to dominate the world. So in order for us to come to a position of power, we're going to need to have a military as well. Christ needs an army to come and rule the earth. You see what I mean? When he comes back here, he wants soldiers. And that's what we're doing here in the UPK. All right. So drop that. Let's get 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 3. We're going to tie this in and see how is rank applied to brotherhood.
2 Timothy 2 and
3.
Yeah. I will come.
Go ahead, we got it.
This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua.
Right. Once again, we're seeing the same language. Like, why did they choose this language as a soldier? It's another precept where it says, put on the whole armor of God. Get your, shield, get your helmet, everything to protect you. This is a militant spirit that he's trying to leave with the men of the Lord. It's because he knows that they're going to have to go out and fight against everything, even to the death. And that's a different type of battle, being a man that's not carnal. Because a crazy person can go and join the military, and what do they call that? They call it crashing out nowadays. Just go ahead and crash out. They just want to kill people, and they want to die. And so whatever ending happens to them, it doesn't matter. They're not really going out to serve. It's it's not to serve, because a lot of those oppressors that join the military, they do want to just go and be bullies and just try to kill as many heathens or whatever enemies that they can. They want to go to Afghanistan while they're throwing rocks at them with an 50 cal and just lay everything down. But this army that we're in is a spiritual army, and you don't get to just go and murk things, lay things down. If anything, you're risking your life and might die for the people that you're trying to help. And we get that from Christ. So it's saying endure hardness as a good soldier of Christ. Really, one more time.
So again, this is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2, verse 3. Thou therefore endure hardness as a good soldier of Yahushua.
Mashiach too as well. So Christ is Mashiach.
Mashiach.
Yahushua Mashiach. Bro. Read verse 4.
Verse 4. No man that weareth entangleth himself.
So that's warreth.
No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of his life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier.
Right. So even that precept kind of goes back to what your opening question. Like, no man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of his life. If you're looking at life as a soldier, you're looking at your life as the mission statement of what I need to do for my king, these orders that have been sent out. Unless this thing is bothering and getting in the way of my mission, then it's not even on my radar. I'm not even worried about it. These are the things of this life. My worries are the things of this war that I'm in. You see what I mean? And so that'll give you the strength to let it not phase you. And what's the last part it says?
Verse 5.
No, read from the part.
That he may please himself, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier.
Right. So now the Lord can see you didn't get sidetracked. That was a demon. Not only if this was a demon that you're dealing with, it's most likely a demon on the other person that's trying to get you sidetracked. So you didn't fall for that trap, and you stay focused and you pay attention to the mission. So even still, using this language of being a soldier is important because you can always compare yourselves to the men that are in the army for your oppressor and hold that standard as well. Because the things that they're willing to do for their nation, if we're not willing to do the same things for our nation, we'll never gain the kingdom. Like, what are some things that soldiers do to go to war? Go ahead. Yeah.
They kill.
Okay. Understand that. But what are like what is the process of going to war? What are some of the sacrifices? That's what I'm looking for. That they give up. Go ahead.
They go through training.
Right. Okay. Takes up time. Then now once they go to war after they train, what are they sacrificing? What are they giving up?
Their lives.
How?
They go into dangerous situations.
Right.
Pretty much doing whatever it is their commander tells them to do.
Right. Missing time from their family. The average tour is how long? Do you know?
6 months.
To war? I think it's about, do they go for 3 years or they shorten it? They might have shortened it on this. Is it 3-4 years talks about? 4 years. Sometimes they're going out there for 3-4 years. I don't know if they even let them come back and visit their family in that time.
Also, the basic training, sorry about that.
Right, yeah. So yeah, basic training is 6 months away. But actually going to war, they tour 3 years, 4 years around that time. Like you said, they're risking their lives, bullets coming at them, bombs, IEDs blowing up, all that. So now, what the hell are we talking about here? You see what I mean? The nigga ate my Pop-Tarts. You know what I mean? These people out here getting shot at. I'm calling myself a soldier. My day ain't like them, and I'm trying to get like them because I want to end this thing that we're in here. My mission is to end this war that we're at and bring our people to peace, bring our people to power. So they're going to be in a mud hole for 3 days, you know what I mean, defecating on themselves for their mission. That's how they ride for their people. We should be able to deal with being a few hours away from our family to go to camp, dealing with the few stresses of life, bills, women, etc. Those things shouldn't phase us if we're enduring hardness like good soldiers of Christ. All right. Yeah. So let's go ahead and go to matter of fact, let me go run down through some of these. Let's go Acts 15-26. We're gonna show you a lot of rank in the Bible real quickly. Let's go back to this brotherhood aspect of rank and order.
Con.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 15, verse 26. Men that have hazarded their lives for the name of our Lord, Yahweh Shai Mashiach. Verse 27. We have sent therefore Judas and Silas, who shall also tell you the same things by mouth.
Let's see. Go to verse 26. Acts 15-26.
Con. It's the book of Acts, chapter 15, verse 26. Men that have hazarded their lives for the name of our Lord, Yahweh Shai Mashiach.
Right. So we putting our life at risk for Christ. That's the type of men that we are in the UPK, and that's because we care for our nation of people. We have that's the brotherhood in it. In order for us to do it, we have to have structure, we have to have order. Even when it comes to the sisters, man, it's a good thing. Most High Christ for the sisters out here in the Bay Area, you know, coming together, networking, and spending their time, because in the military they have groups that are called military wives. It's not like hip hop house wives or whatever. It's like they know their men are gone away, fighting, could die or whatever, etc. So they come together to get through those times because no one else in the world can understand what they're going through like someone that's experiencing the same thing. So in the UPK is a good thing. Like when we all going to camp, the sisters come together at the same time, they understand what it's like, because usually you just by yourself on that day, it's like being by yourself. You know what I mean? But if they're by themselves and you by yourselves together, then that helps get through. So that sisterhood is important as well. And that's what the oppressors do. They, they celebrate holidays. So maybe their husband is not able to make it to the birthdays. So they come together on the birthday. They help each other get through it. God forbid, well, for them, Most High in Christ, but if one of them die out there, they're able to console each other and deal with that loss, because they're experiencing the same thing. But let's drop that. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 11. So all these things, if we look at life like a military, it's just different because we're here in captivity and brothers is not leaving for long periods of time, which is almost a blessing in a lot of ways that we can live like that. Because, like I said, man, the things that they're doing is something that a lot of people will not sign up for. This is why the Lord wants men in that same spirit, because many of us could have joined Esau's military and done that with our lives and wasted our lives serving someone that doesn't give a damn about us. They said that heathen that killed the brother on the train, he got $2 million. Y'all heard about that? They got together $2 million plus. It's probably up higher today, almost $3 million, I'm sure, because he was a veteran that choked out a brother. But it's veterans that's homeless all over America, they don't put any money towards them. So you know how evil this place is that they didn't give the money because he was a veteran. They gave him the money because he killed a nigga. You know what I'm saying? These are the type of people that we dealing with. And so that should encourage us to go out and do our part and our due diligence to fight against them. You know what I'm saying? And one of those important things is to be in line, be disciplined. All right. So let's go ahead and read.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 1, verse 11. The Lord God of your fathers make you 1,000 times so many more as ye are, and bless you as he hath promised you.
So this is Moses. He's talking about how the children of Israel have multiplied and have grown. Keep going.
Verse 12. How can I myself alone bear your cumbrance and your burden and your strife?
Right. So he's saying Moses himself can't rule a nation by himself. He needs to have men. He needs to have help. Keep going.
Verse 13. Take you wise men and understanding and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you.
Right. And this is not rulers like your oppressor rules over people. This is rulers in the sense that these men are there to do service for the people. No difference than when we go to camp. We go out to camp, there's somebody over there that's strung out on drugs, overdosing. We try to feed them. We try to give them clothes. We try to give them a word that's going to help them. We're out there serving them. We're not doing this work to help, ourselves in a sense. Like, we're not doing this for Commander General Yohana. We're not doing this for this brother, that brother. We're doing it for the people out there that need this help. And so we're out there serving them. That's why he said have the wise men. And that's the ranking that he's putting right there. He's putting these people in these positions to make the right decisions and judgments for the people. Keep going.
Verse 14. And ye answered me and said, the thing which thou hast spoken is good for us to do. Verse 15. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains over 50s, and captains over 10s, and officers among your tribes.
Right. So here we go. This is why we hear this in the UPK. Officers, captains of this rank, captain of 10,000, captain of 13,000, officer of a 500, officer of 1,000, 5,000, etc. All these things were in the Bible and were used and implemented by Moses to organize the people to keep things in line. And that's why we say rank is important to resolve disputes. When you don't have rank, these other brothers, it's interesting that they name themselves, go and start another organization and give themselves their own titles. And it all started because the first Israelite group that you joined, you had an issue or dispute with a brother. You didn't like it, so you left and went to another group. And the same thing happened there. So you left and you started your own group. And it's just a coincidence that the group that works best for you is the one that you started, where no one tells you what to do, where no one gives you any orders or corrects you. That's the group that you find yourself in, is the one that you are head of. And that's because they're lacking the brotherhood, and they don't want the discipline. And so every brother in the UPK that has a position of rank, they earn the rank because no one walks in here and gets anything. Everyone comes through the same method. Everyone starts as a young man, becomes a trooper to lower officer, and on the way up. And it's not handed to anyone. You know what I mean? All right. So let's keep going.
Verse 16. And I charged your judges at the time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother and the stranger that is with him.
Right.
Verse 17. Ye shall not respect persons in judgment, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great. As well as the great.
Right.
Ye shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment of God's, and the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear it.
Right. So what's going on here? He's saying that don't skew your judgment based on someone's position. It doesn't matter if it's a general or a captain, whoever. If they offend someone in the UPK, there's a way to resolve that issue. And he's saying if y'all can't resolve it, then bring it to Moses. He's the highest ranking, and he's going to resolve that issue with them. So there is no respecters in persons in that sense. And that's an important thing. That's a hard thing. And after that, let me get Matthew chapter 18. This is one of the most important precepts in the school that even brothers in the school have a hard time dealing with or using. And it's been a thing that has always been pushed in the UPK, and it's very important. So, go ahead, sis.
So, sir, what's the chapter?
Matthew chapter 18. And let me see what verse we want to start at. Matthew chapter 18. Let's see. Let's start at verse 15. Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
Right. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. What is so important about this, as opposed to going and dealing with your issue with someone else? What is that going to do for the situation? Go ahead.
It just saves the other person face. It gives them a little bit, or it doesn't make them lose respect in the eyes of anyone else because of the situation if you do it privately.
Damn right. Get that brother hand. That's it right there. I'm surprised. That's it. That's exactly it right there. Like, Captain Kalazar was explaining that. He was like, man, when you have an issue with this person and you go to someone else to talk about it and gossip about it, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? do you want this person to not like this other person because you have an issue with them? Do you want them to now hate their brother because you have an issue with them? Like nothing good is going to come of them. I may have not had an issue with that brother, but now in my mind, it's called poison in the well. You don't want to poison the well, and I have to drink of this cup and have an issue with someone because you do, and because that's almost brotherhood in itself. Because brothers are such soldiers, and that's one thing I see that with sisters a lot. Brothers can have it, but sisters have this thing as well, where it's something we all do when we're younger. You go to school and your best friend says, "Yeah, my parents, they keep tripping. They want me to clean the bathroom before I can go out to the movies with y'all. Every week before I go out, my pops won't let me leave unless I clean the bathroom down, man. Like, why don't he do it himself? Or why don't we? I don't never get a break. Or I can do it the next day. Why do I got to do it this time every time before I go out? You know what I mean?" And your friends trying to be good friends will agree with you. Like, yeah, your pop's tripping, man. What's wrong with him? He always doing that. What the hell, you know what I mean? They'll go and join in with your grievance with your father or your mother because they feel like they're being a good friend to you. But in reality, they're not being a good friend because they're causing division between you and your father. And your father is right in that situation. You see what I mean? And so sometimes sisters will get in that scenario where they're trying to be good friends and they hear that you're venting because women vent more than men like to vent. Like a brother will not, if something's going on and he has to go and vent to another man about something, he feels like it's gonna make him look weak. You know what I mean? Like no one is going to go out. How can I use this as an example? How can I say it? I won't even get too specific, but you know what I mean? Like a man will not go out and say something that this is going on, this is going on. And now it's like, damn, that's what's going on. You know, brother's like, damn, this nigga, what's going on with the brother? As opposed to sometimes sister feels like they're helping each other out because women like to vent. And that's always been a miscommunication with men and women. A woman will come and complain to her husband, and the husband's first mind state is to solve the problem. Okay, you having this issue with your boss. Well, you need to do this, and they're like, I don't want a solution. I just want to express my anger. And that's to why I'm in those confines, you know what I mean? Of the house, this is bothering you at work, or this is going on over here, to vent in that instance. But when it's to where you are causing confusion with someone else, you should really ultimately go and deal with that person to he and he alone and solve that problem. So I'm saying all that to come back and say that can happen even amongst the brotherhood, where a brother is such a soldier and a brother that if you hear something's bothering you, you want to go and fight and protect you. So if you bringing this issue to me, my brotherhood is trying to agree with you because I'm hearing your anger. I want to fight with you, but that can't work that way because it's going to tear down our house because you're fighting against another brother, and that cannot work. So we need to deal with those situations and follow through what Christ laid down. All right, go ahead. Go start with he shall hear thee. Verse 15, right.
Verse 15. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
So that's the whole purpose of counsel. That's the whole purpose of marriage counsel. Any counsel is to gain back the person that did the offense or that you felt like you had the offense. You could be wrong. They could be wrong. Neither of you could be wrong. That can be all found out in counsel, but the whole goal of it is for you to gain that person back and you feel the same way that you did when you first met them or when you first were rocking and rolling. And that can happen, you know what I'm saying, in any way with counsel. So read, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, if they don't hear you,
Right.
would that be like they like you lash out at you, they get upset?
Right.
Would that be them doing that, or is that just like an evil spirit?
Well, we'll let the council find that out. But if the only thing that should happen if you ever go to someone he alone or she and she alone, whatever, and you tell them you offended me, the only response you're supposed to hear is Salakia. There shouldn't be any back and forth explanations, none of that. It's Salakia. I didn't mean to offend you. It won't happen again. Anything outside of that, you're supposed to take it to a council. And you'll be found out. Okay, yeah, that was a demon on them, and they were wrong. Or it wasn't, like I just said, both of you were wrong, neither of you were wrong, etc. So yeah, that's very important. That's why you go to this next page right here. Verse 16.
Verse 16. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in thy mouth, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word may be established.
Right. So then you take it to a council. Now, what if you have a situation where things get heated, and even the brothers end up pushing and shoving each other, and doing that, and you take it to the council? What's the purpose of that council? Y'all done said some words and got physical with each other.
Sir, you got physical before the council with the other
Yeah.
Sir, I'm not sure.
What is the purpose of that council?
Would it be different if you didn't get physical and they were to disagree, or would it be the same reason?
That's what I'm testing to see.
It would be to resolve the situation, to figure out like who was in the right or wrong. I mean, if you get physical with someone, you probably both were wrong, but it started from somewhere.
Right.
It should be brought out.
Okay. So I'm gonna say la to that. And what I'm saying is, what you're saying is right in essence, but let's say it like this, all right? You're still going back to gain that brother. That's the spirit you want to be in. Never going to council should be about who is right or who's wrong. That's not the way to be. Even if you were right, you shouldn't go with that spirit. That's the wrong spirit to be in. The spirit is to gain that brother back. So it was kind of a trick question. It's the same thing, but just put a different scenario on it, but it's still the same reason. All right. But if that person will not hear you, someone not hearing you is still the same thing as you going to them and they saying Salakia, it won't happen again. If they do it again, that means they did not hear you. So you don't have to get on a vicious, endless cycle of going to them alone and saying the same thing and then doing the same thing. At that point, you should take it to a council. And that is something that's hard sometimes for some people to do because we grow up in a culture of not snitching. And so we've been told not to snitch, not to tell, don't be a tattletale. But you know, the foundation of not snitching was because our oppressor does not care about the victim in our communities. So if someone was attacking you and you shot this person to protect your life, the oppressor doesn't come and say, ask the witnesses what happened. You shot this person. They were attacking you. That's what I would have done. You can go home and go free. The oppressor is going to say, what happened here? They're going to tell you, all right, cool. We're going to take him and lock him up for 25 years, even though he was a victim and he was protecting his life. And we have it that this nigga is dead. Like the whole not snitching thing was to not put the oppressors in our business and let us handle out our own issues internally because they don't care about us one way or the other. But then we have turned and used that in our own community and not done the other part of policing ourselves, and we've become more destroyed. So that mind state can't come into the truth because that's how the Christian church continues in so much sin and wickedness. Like how much is child molestation growing in the Black and Latino community because no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to tell what happened. You see what I'm saying? And so that spirit can't come in the Bible. The men went to explain what happened. If something was wrong, They went and explained what happened was wrong, and no one was looked at as a bad person for doing it. It's actually in our laws to do that. If we see someone get put to death, we have to go tell the priest. We have to go and speak on these things. You see what I'm saying? All right. So definitely don't want to look at counsel as the same way as snitching. The purpose is to gain this brother and keep moving forward. You know what I mean? And rank shouldn't matter in that. And that's brotherhood. So let's keep going.
Verse 17. And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican.
Right. So it's two things in this. I've never seen this in the UPK, and I pray I never see this. But if someone doesn't listen to that counsel that you're getting, and they want to take it to in front of the whole, it's going to be a major council. This issue is going to go against everyone in the school, and they're saying who's right or who's wrong, or whoever had the disagreement with the council. And if they disagree with what the council says is right, then they get treated like a heathen. This is another precept to show that heathens were not allowed amongst Israelites. Because if you're treating a brother like a heathen that gets kicked out of the school, gets kicked out of the truth, then how are we treating heathens? They could never come in the truth. They can never be amongst us. So let's drop that. I got a few precepts on. Let's go back to the Old Testament. I'll show you some precepts about rank. Let me get 1 Chronicles chapter 12, verse 14. Let me see. No, that's not the one I want. Matter of fact, not that one. Salaki. First Chronicles 27 and 34. Everything that we have in this school, you can find in the book. Some people will say, why don't we call ourselves deacons? Why don't we call ourselves bishops? Because you can find those words in the Bible, but they don't realize that they have officers, captains, and generals in here as well. And so we choose these names because the Christian church has tainted those words. They made them become disgusting words. When you think of a deacon, you think of somebody on a deacon board that's molested your niece,
Right.
molested your cousin. You hear about Bishop so-and-so, you think about T.D. Jakes and all these thieves that stolen money and then bought themselves planes and etc. The bishops in the Catholic Church, all of that. So they've destroyed these words. We don't want to have anything that has the spirit of Christianity on it. So the words are not evil, but we swayed from those words and chose to go with these words. One, because they're militant, and two, because it's something that they would never use. They would never call themselves this or that and the third, because they want to have a different spirit about themselves. But those were synonymous. I'll say that as well. So like I think a bishop would be a captain today. It's the same thing. It's a different title. All right. Let's go ahead.
This is the book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 27, verse 34. And after Ahithophel was Jehoiada, the son of Benaiah, and Abiathar, and the general of the king's army was Joab.
Right, so there was a general as well. Just like we have generals here in the UPK, there were generals in the Bible as well. All right, let's go to Exodus chapter 4, verse 14. This is another thing, like we said, having the rank of the wise men, the counselors that can determine and make these decisions, is what Moses wanted, because you'll see things in our communities where we try to resolve our problems ourselves and we do it in a destructive manner. Not too long ago, last year, they had the situation with the Warriors and Draymond Green and Jordan Poole. They got into some verbal altercation that had been building up, and they never went and did what Christ said to do in Matthew 18 and go to them, he and he alone, They couldn't resolve it. Go to some counselors. Go to the priests and prophets. And that's what's so important as well. Like these schools, these HBCUs, these NBA teams got all these black players on them. They're supposed to come to the priests and prophets to get counsel, to solve these problems on these teams. They wonder why they falling apart and breaking up, or you got cats like John Morant that keep doing this self-destructive behavior or whatever. Even though it wasn't wrong what he did, he's losing money and talking himself or working himself out of a position in life because he doesn't have anyone to counsel him and give him that wise advice. And that's supposed to be the jobs of the priests and prophets. Every NBA team should have a priest in the UPK that's on call for them. Everybody in the NFL, every team in the NFL should have a priest in the UPK. All these HBCUs should have someone to call and give them their counsel, because what they're not telling them is that the owner is their enemy. The owner is their oppressor. The owner is the devil the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
They don't hear that. They don't understand that. And they come out and they end up fighting each other. And so Draymond and the brother, I guess they were fighting over Draymond not being able to be on the team next season. His contract is coming up. He might get moved around. He might get sold to another plantation. And so he's angry about him talking mess about Jordan Poole. Like, yeah, I'm a young cat coming in, I'm making this money, and you're going to be pushed out and blah, blah, blah. It's joking, but it got turned serious. He ended up hitting the brother. They weren't able to resolve that issue. Now they say the whole team's chemistry was thrown off the whole season because of that. For these two brothers fighting like that. And so we have to avoid those situations. And one of those things is having the men above us to counsel and resolve the issues that we have amongst ourselves. All right. So let's drop that. We at Exodus 4 and 14.
This book of Exodus, chapter 4, verse 14. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses, and he said, is not Aaron the Levite thy brother? Mm-hmm. I know that he can speak well, and also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee. Right. And when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart.
Right. So Moses said he didn't want to go out and talk to the people because he had a problem with speaking. He had a speech impediment. And he said, well, isn't this your brother Aaron? Keep going.
Verse 15. And thou shalt speak unto him, and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth, and with his mouth, and will teach you what ye shall do.
Right. And this has always been the case with the prophets of God. So the Lord is going to speak to Moses, and then Moses is going to speak to Aaron, and Aaron's going to speak to the people. Who is talking to the people when Aaron speaks? God. Damn right. The Lord is speaking to the people. That's the same thing. You go get counsel from General Muhammad. That's not General Muhammad talking to you. That's the Lord speaking to you. As a man that's well versed in the precepts, well versed in the work of the Lord, seen all the things, seen everything, and been through everything, he's able to give you advice and counsel. One second. Hold. Remember what you're going to say, too. Matter of fact, go ahead.
That's the same thing that happens at camp. It's like you said, that's the same thing that happened at camp. When brother up there blazing, you know what I'm saying, that would be the Lord up there, you know what I'm saying, speaking through that brother.
Damn right. Yeah. And that's, you know what's so cold? I don't got the precept, but I'm just going to paraphrase it. One of the cold thing that David said was that, Lord, don't take your spirit from me, because he knew all the things that he was doing was the spirit of the Lord on him. And that's something a brother don't ever want to happen. Because you thinking that's you and trying to take credit, you did this and you did that, you might get up there and your whole tongue just stop working. You know what I mean? You can't even speak ever again. And that because the Lord is allowing us to do it, and the Lord is putting the spirit on you to move and to speak and say these things, man. And you have to learn it from this book and from the men that know this book and able to teach this book. You know what I mean? And so Aaron was the one that's speaking, but it all comes from the Lord. And like I said, going back to General Muhammad, his counsel is of the Lord because he's a man of the Lord, and he has been put in that position to do those things. So it would be best to listen to the counsel that's given in that way. All right. Is there anything else on that? Let's see where we at. Let's see. Keep going.
Come. Verse 16. And he shall be thy spokesman unto the people, and he shall be even he shall be to thee instead of a mouth, and thou shalt be to him instead of God.
Right. It's the same thing. He's gonna be your mouth, and you're gonna be the Lord. You're gonna speak for the Lord to him, and he's gonna speak for the Lord to them. All right. Let's drop that. Let's go to Joshua 5:13. It's another thing that General Hyman teaches that he learned from Commander Johanna. The best trooper is the best general, and the best general was the best trooper. And that's the way we want to move and operate, coming into the truth and maintaining that zeal. Like everything that you're doing in your office, you want to be professional about it. Trooper, we say, come to camp, all black. Everything is all black. You can't come with a Nike sign. Brother gonna correct you on that. Hey, you got to cover that up. You got to black that out. You got to take that off. That is not all black. And as you move up, we tell brothers, enjoy your time as a trooper, because that's the only time you can be selfish in the truth. And not selfish in a bad way, but selfish meaning this is about you learning and growing and bettering yourself. Because once you become an officer, now your life is about everything and all the men that are underneath you that you outrank. And so your life is over at that point. Now your life is about everyone else. And so that's the importance of the rank that's being given, is to serve. We're going to get to some of those precepts. Let's go to Joshua 5:13.
Wakan. This is the book of Joshua, chapter 5, verse 13. And it came to pass, when Joshua was by Jericho, that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and he behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us or for our adversaries?
Right, and that's like how brothers are out here in California. You go to LA, people, they talking about they press you, they run up on you. Back in the days, brother used to run up on you. Say, cuz, where you from? Are you with us or are you with the ops? Who are you with? And that's how Joshua is coming at this cat. He got his sword out. He's like, who you with? And that's the true meaning of shalom. Shalom is not how fake Israelites want to make it, and the fake Jewish people want to make it. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Like, shalom is the same thing as how you walking through the streets, you see a brother and y'all catch, you see him in your eyes, you know what I'm saying? You watching him, you walk up and you get that head nod, like, what's up? He's like, what's up? The head nod come back, lets you know that it's no problems. There is no problem. But if you go, what's up? He keep mugging, then you know, okay, hold on, what's going on? This issue was happening. That's what shalom was. Shalom was you coming up, you like, it's a peace? All right, it's peace. Good. Okay, cool. It's not war. Everything is cool. You think about it as well. Always imagine the salute how we do. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah. Back in the day, someone walking into your area, it's dark outside. You know how it is when you get out of the city and it's not a lot of city lights. You can't really tell who is who. Somebody's walking up. You can tell somebody's walking up, but you don't know who it is. It could be your father, but you don't know if it's him or it's somebody else. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah. Back then, Yahweh Barakatah. You know what I'm saying? Before Christ, Yahweh Barakatah. Shalom, Yahweh Barakatah. They return it back to you. You know, okay, this person is coming in peace. This person is not an enemy. And that's how Joshua was dealing with this person right here. He's like, are you for us or are you against us? Keep going.
Verse 14. And he said, Nay, But as a captain of the host of the Lord am I now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship, and said unto him, What saith my Lord unto his servant?
Right. So he's saying, no, I'm not coming as an enemy. I'm coming as a captain in the host of the Lord's army. So what are we learning about this angel right here? Go ahead.
He's speaking for the Lord.
Right.
He's also high ranking.
There we go. That's it right there. That even in the Lord's army, they have rank in the Lord's army. The angels have rank in their army. This is a captain in the host of the Lord's army. And that's why Joshua got right, bowed down, and you know what I'm saying, showed him honor and reverence, because this was an angel of God. All right, let's drop that one. Let's go to Luke chapter 22, verse 24. It's two things that it's a few things that these positions were given for, to make decisions. You going out to camp, something is going on, we need to make a decision. That's what the rank is for. But outside of that, man, we all brothers. And in reality, the power that is given is to serve. That's what Christ was about. We're going to go ahead and read.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 22, verse 44. And being in an agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was as it were great drops of blood falling.
I say 44. I meant 24.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 22, verse 24. And there was also a strife among them, which of them should be accounted the greatest.
So this is the disciples that are with Christ, and they're arguing, but they're arguing about rank. That's the issue that they have. Which one should be accounted as the greatest? Read verse 25.
Verse 25. And he said unto them, The kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and they that exercise authority upon them are called benefactors.
Right. So the kings of the world, just like your Donald Trumps, your Joe Bidens, they're not going to send their children into war zones. They're not going to send their child to go and fight the wars that they are starting. They're going to send our sons to them wars. They're going to send our children to go die for them. And that's how the kings of the world are. And the people that exercise authority, they are called the benefactors. The ones that are in charge and rulership, they benefit off the people that they're over, that they're in charge of. Keep going.
Verse 26. But ye shall not be so, but he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger, and he that is chief as he that doth serve.
Right. So amongst the children of Israel, the men that follow in Christ, it can't be like the heathens. We can't be like them and be the ones that say we're going to rule over this brother. We have this, we have that. You don't want to get any rank and get any delusions of grandeur that you're something great and that these men belong to you and have to do what you're saying because of who you are. The power that's given to you is to serve those men. How do we have that example? You think about our Passovers, our barbecues that we have. People show up to these things. The guests that are not in the school, they show up when the barbecue starts. But the men that are orchestrated show up 8 in the morning, 7 in the morning. They show up ahead of time, and they go to sleep early the night before to get there. Like they have to miss out on these things for the people to enjoy what's there. All right, keep reading.
Verse 27. For whether it is greater he that sitteth at meat, or he that serveth, is not he that sitteth at meat, but I am among you as he that serveth.
Right. So think about you going out to eat at dinner. When you go out to eat at dinner, in that dynamic, the waitress brings the food. They come check on you if you need water, et cetera, et cetera. Who is greater? Go ahead.
Like in eternally, our world,
Yeah,
the person paying for the food.
correct. The one that's sitting down, the one that's serving the food is in a lesser position. So in the truth, we go out and we serve the people. Like I said, we go out and teach. Even with this class, I can have these precepts. I can have this in my notebook. But today, you coming out teaching, doing a service to the people here in the class online. It's me doing work to help them. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it works in the truth. Like the service, I always talk about this example, man, that I've seen General Muhammad give countless times. But one example always stood out to me is that Passover, after Passover, we all would go to the hotel and kick it in the lobby at one of the Passovers in Houston. So everybody's in the lobby. Tazabah, remember we was out there. Officer Yalad, he had the cowboy boots with the spurs on them. You know, brothers get to drinking, sipping, chilling, laughing. We up till 4 or 5 in the morning, all the way to the sunlight, playing spades. Some people playing dominoes, whatever, having a good time. And at one point in time, we was in the lobby, and just kind of like how it is with us in here and the kids, you know what I'm saying? Get to like, all right, y'all need to be quiet. Can't hear right here. Somebody had to come out and say, Salah, get to the men above me. Everyone, we're gonna need everybody in the lobby to quiet down. Y'all too loud in here. So everybody quiet down. He's like, General Muhammad's in the back giving counsel. So since the Passover, at one point in time, they announced that General Muhammad was giving counsel after the Passover, all the way up to like 3 or 4 in the morning. He was still back there counseling people and bringing in people while we're out here enjoying ourselves, having fun. Nobody was going to call me as a young officer to come and fix their marriage or to fix the issue that they have with this or that or etc. I couldn't counsel them like General Muhammad is. So he's gone up and got all this rank and done all this work to do more work for the people. And that reminded me of like Christ. Like there are certain times when the disciples were telling Christ to send people away, or it's time to go, or we need to get out of here, or we don't got any food. Let's move. And Christ is telling them, nah, take this fish. Go ahead and feed everyone here. Feed these people, 5,000 people. Serve them, the ones that haven't been walking with me every day, the ones that are not in my camp, in my school. Go ahead and take care of them. And that's showing the service, man, that we're supposed to do. So the rank, like, we should never compete about rank amongst each other. Our competition is with the Catholic Church. Our competition is with Islam, with the Muslims. That's what we compete for and against. Is nothing wrong with wanting power, but what do you want it for? Just to have title to rule over, brother, tell him what to do, to say you have this name, you have this status, this rank, or is it to do more work? That's what it should be for. That's what you should be aiming to do as you, if you want to gain that position in the Lord's army. All right. So that's what Christ was telling them. They're sitting there arguing about it, like who is going to be greatest. He's telling them that who wants to do the most work. That's who's going to be the greatest, is the brother that wants to give up the most to everyone else. And that's what people don't see as well. I said the last thing on that, you got to give credit to, Commander General Yohana. You know what I'm saying? People may not see it from the outside. It's the same way. You see everyone else giving him credit, but no one is seeing that who can Commander General Yohana, I don't want to say this. All right. A person that's a trooper coming into the school, they have to, break down the camp equipment, clean toilets if needed, take out the trash, etc., sweep, mop, etc. That's pretty much it. Just follow the orders that are given to you, and that's it, right? But as you're going up, no one is directly giving Commander Johanna orders except Christ. So now his orders are to work for everyone else underneath him. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're not responsible for anyone else but yourself as a trooper. But as you're moving up, now you're responsible for everyone else. And you have to answer and be accountable for all of them. So if some random person that comes into the school goes off and does something wild, they're gonna call General Commander General Yohana's phone and blame him. He's gonna have to accept that. Like these fake Israelites, they think, oh man, it's so evil and wicked, and y'all man worshiping. Every time y'all come up and say, I should be carrying the Commander General Yohana, I should be carrying the Commander General Yohana, y'all evil and wicked. That's how much brotherhood Commander General Yohana has for the brothers in the UPK. Because you try to build some organization that goes against your oppressor, and he's putting his name on it every goddamn second. He's putting his name and his stamp on us every second of his life. And if we do something that's wrong and foul, we're shaming his name. He has to deal with that. He has to face the consequences of that. Your leader, your fake Israelite leader, doesn't have the courage or the cojones to put his stamp on you cowards, because he knows you're going to be in purple and go and shoot some transvestite in the middle of the night. You understand what I'm saying? You're going to go and try to molest a child. You're going to go and do something evil and wicked. And so he's not going to say for you to represent his name every second of your life, because he doesn't love you. He doesn't care about you. They see it as evil. I see it as love and as brotherhood, man.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? But let's go ahead and read that last verse again, too. Let's read verse 27 one more time.
In the book of Luke, chapter 22, verse 27. For whether is greater, he that sitteth at meat, or he that serveth? Is not he that sitteth at meat, but I am among you as he that serveth.
Right. Christ served everyone the most. You hear about all the healings. There were certain ones. One of my favorite precepts, I'd have to find it, is they talk about, is that the one? I think they had to tear a hole in the roof in order to lay someone down in to listen to Christ speaking. Like, there were crowds that were surrounding him. He couldn't go anywhere. People grabbing at his garments. You think about a celebrity, and they always say, like, how stressful it is to be a celebrity. Everybody wants the fame and the wealth. But then once you get to that level of fame, like a Michael Jackson, he can't just walk down the street. He can't go to the park. He can do anything normal like anyone else can. And it wears on them. It's stressful. That's how Christ was moving, where it's like they hear he coming to town. People coming wanting to get healed. People coming to get counsel. People coming to get taught, breakdowns. And it was taking up every minute of his life. They don't want him to leave. Like, imagine the line for that. You know what I'm saying? We got somebody over here that's healing people with broken legs, with blinds, people that can't hear, et cetera, et cetera. That line will be around the corner. So he's losing sleep. He's losing everything because he's serving everyone when he was the king. That's the example that he said. You know what I mean? This is we got to follow. I ain't gonna follow. I ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer. Try to get out of here right at 9 o'clock. Let's go to Matthew 20 and 26. Captain Kadazar said something very heavy in this class. He said, my rank is brotherhood. Let's go to Matthew 20 and 26. He said, my rank is brotherhood. And that could be a t-shirt. My rank is brotherhood, man. It's not to rule over like the heathens. He said like the Gentiles. That's how the oppressors treat people. It's not about that. You know what I'm saying? Captain Cornwall is a good example of that as well. Like, we know in the school we have rank in order to feed people based on their ranking system. That's to keep things moving efficiently. That's to, it's in the Bible as well, where Christ fed the men. He fed his men first, and then they went and fed everyone else. But at the same time, you see men like Captain Quan Wall, he has to fight with brothers. You like, man, y'all go ahead and eat first, man. It's not that serious. You know what I'm saying? I remember Tazabah saying that before. When Cap come to stay at your house, you be like, you be so in the spirit with him. You feel like you almost getting out of order with Cap because he's so brotherly that you be like, oh, Salakia, sir. You know what I mean? I don't want to offend you. He like, no, that's why. Because you talking to him, you know what I'm saying? And it's just, he got that amount of brotherhood for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's the spirit that we always want to remember and keep. You know what I mean? The truth. Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 20, verse 26.
Because and I know Tazabah ain't lying because I felt the same way dealing with Cap certain time. You get to saying something real quick, you be like, you know, bro, I mean, Salakia, sir, I didn't mean to call you brother, sir. I'm just speaking, you know, it's just coming out how we talk amongst, you know, in the world. You even say, bro, hold on, bro. And you might catch yourself, oh, Salakia, sir, I didn't mean to call you that. But you get so comfortable because you're so brotherly and it's just, you know what I mean? You know, you don't feel like that in that way. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 20, verse 26. But it shall not be so among you, but whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister.
Right. Keep going.
27. And whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant.
Right. That's written in red as well, man. So that whoever wants to be great among you, let them be your minister, let them be your servant. And that's the whole important goal and mission. If you want this power, you use the power to go and do more and be motivated to do more with the rank that is given. Other than that, we all brothers. It really doesn't matter at this point. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's no time limit on it in the truth. You can be in here for 20 years. You can be here for 5 months. The rank is given out is not based on this or the time limit. You know what I'm saying? Like, who does that? Where does that happen at? I don't even know how many places that happens in the world. What is it like? If you were AARP or something, I don't know. You've been a member of AAA long enough, they might give you a gold member card, or you go to the casino long enough. Even that, you still got to spend money with them. Like, there's not too many places where you gain status because of the time you've been there. You gain status in anything with the works that is put out. You know what I mean? And people can do work in different ways and different manners of things. And the next step is always to say, okay, I'm given this position now. How can I do more? All right. Let's go to Matthew 18. So we did the last ones. 1 Corinthians 11:3. We have one in the apocrypha. Correct. We're going to show how this applies to the family the same way. So, as always, anytime you hear brotherhood, that applies to sisterhood as well. They are synonymous. They're the same word. You know, having more children is more responsibility. It's the same way. You shouldn't have more children and want to do less. You have more children, you want to do more. Same thing. Like, we got to understand that having nothing is carnal in the UPK. Taking on another wife, all that is not to do less, it's to do more. You know what I mean? Like, you want to have more kids, you want to build up more soldiers, you want to build up more daughters of Zion. You want to, you know, make this situation happen, make that situation happen. Like, it's more work. It's not less work. It is not easier. It can help make certain things easier, but at the end of the day, people from in the world, I can see that. Like, if someone was in the world, you're like, damn, this nigga just got 10 wives because he just want to have sex with a whole bunch of women. But they know in the world you can just throw them away, get a divorce, or do Nick Cannon or whatever. None of that matters. But being here in the truth, man, you have to be accountable and take everything that is very serious. And so all these things can be applied the same way to our families as well. Go ahead.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of every woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.
Right, we've heard this precept plenty of times, countless times, but it's just, once again, that's a rank within our household, and that's to keep brotherhood in order. That's to keep sisterhood in order. That's to keep disputes, and it's also about service. Being the head of a household, being the leader of a household, the service that you're giving is a responsibility of everything. You can't be like Adam and give the responsibility and blame the woman for everything. At the end of the day, you're going to be held accountable for this situation when it goes wrong, when it goes right. And that's what a lot of brothers will find out in counsel, myself included, that even if you think you're right, you go and find out the generals will give you righteous judgment and will not just go with what you have to say. And you will find out that even if you're right, the general is going to find a way to say, hey, you wrong. You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10. And not being wrong as the judgment of the council is wrong, but nigga, you didn't do everything right either. You should work on this. You should change this. You should go in this area right here. And that's what's so glorious about counsel, is because a man is not going to listen to a woman trying to rule over him. This rank right here is important because you can correct anyone that's above you in the truth. They say that the same way. A younger officer can correct a higher ranking officer, but it's not what you do, it's how you do it. Instead of, man, sir, what you doing, man? You need to do this. Instead of, Salakia, sir, I think we handle it this way. You can do it that way. That's the way you do it. That's how you still show brotherhood and have respect for that order that was put out. That's the same thing that can be found in our household. Now, what you say is how you say it, and then when you're doing that, like I said, you might find out in the council that you're right, but a man is going to need another man to really correct him in something that's serious like that, because his natural instinct is to dominate, and sometimes being wrong. I forgot, I saw one brother, he made a heavy post. He was like, even when I'm wrong, I'm still right. Like when it comes to my real, like he was dead serious about it. I think he was joking to an extent, but I understood what he was saying is like certain things that a man just don't want to back down. And we have rank in the school and we know it's from the Lord. So that's the time you can see a man say, okay, damn, I didn't see that. I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it can help fix, our relationships with that. But drop that. Let me get Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 2. It's the last one. I'll let y'all go. Yeah.
Chapter 3, verse 2.
Come.
It's the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 2. For the Lord hath given the father honor over the children, and hath confirmed the authority of the mother over the sons.
Right, like the Lord has given the father honor over the children. The father is over the children. He's over his household. We just read the rank of the household. The Lord, Christ, the men, then the women or the wives, and the wives over the children. They pass down the orders that come down from the husband to the children, and those orders that come from the husband are coming from the Lord. It's another precept that says for wives to treat their husband as unto the Lord. So that's the same way. You hearing orders come out from the men above you, you're taking it as the Lord gave you them orders, and that's the same thing that's being right here. And the children, they should take the orders that come from the mother as if the Lord told them as well. You know what I'm saying? So everything keeps things in line, keeps things in check, and makes us function to our best. And that's the powerful thing about it. That's like with the Malcolm X thing. You're weak when you have no order. You're stronger and more powerful when you do have order. And the last thing I was gonna say that oh yeah, the word function. You're functioning at a high capacity. The opposite of that is dysfunctioning. And that's where our families always heard that word, and that's the only part you ever heard. Like, I come from a dysfunctional family. My family dysfunctional. You never thought, are there functional families? Is that even possible? You know what I'm saying? Is there a way for a family to function? And that's it right there, is having rank, having order, having you know what I'm saying, being willing to serve each other. Everyone being willing to serve each other and love and care for each other brings the proper function. You know what I'm saying? If the father is saying, yeah, the daughter, she shouldn't wear these clothes, but if the mother is saying, nah, it's not that bad, that's causing dysfunction. Now the kid don't know who to listen to, and they're gonna listen to is going with whatever they want. And okay, well, mom said I can't wear it, then dad's tripping. So now it's splitting division. You see what I'm saying? And now you're arguing with him, and the kids arguing with the dad. Now the kids don't listen to dad. Mom don't listen to dad. So it just throws the whole functioning of the family off balance. And that's what we have in the black community, is because we've been taught that there is no order amongst our people. That black men should listen to other black men, and then that black women should listen to black men, and then the children should listen to the parents. It's just destroying us from internally. But the Lord set it up to keep all that in order, man. That's why I say that rank is brotherhood and brotherhood is rank. Rank is sisterhood and sisterhood is rank. Without that, everything will fall apart. So with that, unless there's any questions or comments online or in the room, we'll go ahead and close out the class.
Amadi Shabbat, Amijam, Barak, Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Brakatah.
Yahweh Bashim Yahshua Brakatah.
One courtesy salute to the sisters, Sar, Amijam, sisters. One courtesy salute to the sisters, Amadi Shabbat, Amijam, Barak,
Yahweh Bashim Yahshua.
That's my top. Dismiss.
Thank you.